How are you?
Uh,
Well, that is wonderful. Right on time again. So, what's going on with you?
uh,
Like
uh,
our new color scheme?
I don't know what's wrong with me. Yeah, this on time stuff is crazy. But now what? I think what it is since I've been sickly or whatever, I either had to get up so early to go to treatments or I don't, and then I sleep some, and then
Right.
I get up and goof around a little bit, and then it's thanks to Dale Wiley, I don't have time to go do anything else, so I just hang out.
It's my fault. My fault
It's
of
your
getting you a
fault.
job and letting you live your best life. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're in control. Okay.
It's all going so
And
well. There's so much stuff going on.
it's going great. This is orange water with orange drink with orange stuff in it
Right?
that I've been drinking on for 2 days because you go to bed and set it by your bed. And you just put ice in it the next day because all this is water with flavor anyway. And
Right.
I got that little funky straw. My ears still clogged up. I
That
think.
stinks.
Yeah.
Hear that. Definitely.
Yeah, it does stink.
Well,
And
so I'm still waiting to see our branding, but I want to ask you, what were some of your favorite older people in Crane? Let's talk about that for a minute. Some people that you
uh,
liked.
gee whiz. Um, well, it was kind of like the type of town you liked all the older people really because there just
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
that many people there.
right,
I mean, there was Doc Hackley,
right. Love him.
the eye doctor.
Yes.
Uh, what was his name? Used to live down by you. The doctor there in town,
Oh, Dr. Womack, he lived right next door.
Doctor Womack.
Sure
He was
did.
a character. Now,
He was a
if you ever
character.
went to if you ever went to his doctor office, it was kind of like stepping back into science fiction or something because he got a lot of old stuff. They
Right.
just looked like big radar guns or something. I don't, it was just his doctor's office was kind of like a warehouse. I mean, you go in and there was a reception area, but he was the one at the reception area. Yeah, yeah, come on in. And then he takes you back down the hallway. Yeah, it was. And he was a very smart man. If you ever took the time just to visit
Definitely
with him,
was. You know what's so funny? He was not a very fun neighbor. He kind of kept to himself, and his wife definitely kept herself. And what's so funny is that my friend Pete Gibson, who lived across the street, and he was so much fun, like just the best guy ever. And Pete Gibson talked about how Rusty Reel, who's another Crane memory, how Rusty Rill would come over to work on Dr. Womack's house, and Dr. Womack would fire him every Friday. And then Pete would have to go back and say, no, hire him for one more week. And just 1 week
oh
at a time.
yeah, he was just out there. He kept to himself kind of because I think he just really didn't find any people that were on the same level where he
Right,
was.
exactly.
And just I mean he was a different, like I said, he would visit with me the most if I
Right.
had to go down there to his doctor office. And
Uh,
then I would start. I think he visited with me because I just don't shut up. I'm like blah 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 blah, and I think he liked that. He just, but yeah, he's a rusty reel.
right.
Um, oh my gosh, Henry Maples.
Loved him.
Um, there was just a
So
lot
many
of people.
people in town.
Fern Myers.
Love Fern. Oh my gosh. Talk about
I'm
Fern.
going
What do you think about her?
Dolores and Benton Shively.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
That was my neighbors, and they were just super.
They sure were.
And
And of course, their children were Chuck and David Shively.
Chuck and David, and well, they got two more.
Right.
And then David, he passed away here a few years
Right.
ago.
He sure did. A great
And
guy. Definitely a great guy.
David he was awesome, and David's one of those that he just decided he was going to move away, go somewhere else and do something.
Right.
And I think he started out doing catering and stuff like that. And I mean, at hotels and all. And he had worked himself up into good marketing stuff.
Right.
And we used to, every summer, me and Randy Bowling, we'd load up and we'd go to either Tulsa or St. Louis, or we go somewhere to drag races, the professional drag races.
Okay.
Chuck, we finally asked Chuck one time if he wanted to go. Oh my gosh, his parents, they go, we were their neighbors, and they said, okay. Man, Chuck thought he was in heaven, man. He was with the two older guys.
Right.
And we were in a van, a customized van that we were always doing those at the car lot. And we got lost and got over in East St. Louis on Saturday night after the races.
Oh no.
I mean, and the transmission was on the thing on the van, and it was sticking in like third gear. So I mean, it was just we couldn't stop because the motor. I mean, yeah, we just had to keep going. Not to mention the area. Man, we were. I get in trouble for that, but we're the only three guys that look like we did in the whole area. And we were in this van with all this bright colors on the side of it. And every street corner was just, I was just like the movies, man. It was just,
it sounds like
we thought, so we just ran all the stoplights. Yeah. And it's, and Chuck, he had never been away from Crane, I don't think. And he was just freaking out. I go, I think we're going to have to run this one. Chuck would be like, yeah, run it. Go. And yeah, I mean, it was older people in Crane. I just try to think of course, all the Vaughts. I mean, all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all the brothers that were around the same age, as in Goob, Perry, and James, and Dean was a little bit younger.
Goob.
There were 7 or 8 of them that were all around the same age.
Yes.
And they were, if you ever see these movies, small town, and you don't mess with one of them or do anything wrong to one, because you'll have all 8 or 9 or 10 of them all show up at your front yard. And I know of a lot of cases where things like that happen, and and they just laugh about it. And Kenny, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think who all. There was a lot of course. Well, Jack Swearingen, worked for the city. How about American Family Insurance?
Oh, Jack Fugit. Yes.
Jack
Fugit is an amazing American, definitely.
Amazing. He'd come up and see my dad in the hospital.
Right.
And when he'd leave, he'd be out in the lobby or out in the hallway crying. And
right.
He'd be like, well, I came up here to try to cheer your dad up, and I'm bawling like a baby, and he's in there just laughing. And it was good gosh. Chuck Warren at the lumberyard. I spent a lot of time down there. I mean, that's where we built the insides of our bus and everything. And it's a town, I mean, you pretty much just knew everybody.
Absolutely. I loved Monrose Quinn and her kids. They were another group that was just so fantastic. I love that house. Such a fun group of people.
Oh yeah. Monrose, yeah. And all the kids. I mean, they were all just, they were all great. It was just a town where back in my days, I think Blaine Hembry was the main cop in town. I figured out if you wanted to be a police officer in Crane, all you had to do was put a light on top of your car, and maybe a magnet one that would stick there, and they'd give you a police shirt and a badge, and because now listen to this, we went. Me and my dad and somebody and Blaine Hembry, might have been Raymond Lauer. We all went to the Shrine Master wrestling one time.
He was a big fan of wrestling, definitely. Blaine Hembry was.
And this was the big time back then. It's what the big time would be now. and
Right.
we had like seats 2 or 3 rows from the ring right down there. And all I remember is back in my days, this is a long time ago, there was one guy called the Spoiler, and he wore a mask, and he would take his hand and he put it on people's head and squeeze till they started bleeding. And
Right.
he was the bad guy.
Uh,
And I remember that happened. And Blaine Hembry jumped up and took his folding chair and folded it and went after him, man.
right.
He got, because the guy was leaving the ring, and he took off after him, and I think they stopped him.
That's something I've heard about all the time. And one other thing, this is Kelly Bott's birthday, and so another way to bring all this together, because
I saw that. Yeah, happy birthday, Kelly.
yes,
He's
in heaven. We know where he is. Definitely.
It is his birthday. There was Crane was a community that just kept up with people right around there. I mean,
Right.
Your parents, I knew your parents really good. Like you said, your mom was a teacher.
Right.
It was a community that everybody kind of worked together in the community when they'd have little street things downtown. I mean, the whole
Right.
town would go together to do that. And
Yes.
gosh, Joy Johnson,
Right.
he was an awesome guy, and Teresa White, and
Yes.
I start thinking of different businesses
Right.
who ran them. And there was who's the little lady? Gosh, this was before your time, where my dad had Chevrolet, and then he had kind of behind it was the used car lot on the Parsons Cafe.
Oh, yes.
There used to be a Parsons Cafe, and there's a little lady, I forgot her name. Everybody in town had their own coffee cup in there with their name on it. And it was one of the best places to eat. That and Jane and Eddie, J&E.
Oh,
Jane
yeah.
and Eddie's right up the edge of town. And it was just, maybe every town's like that, maybe, but it was definitely a fun town.
Definitely.
I mean, back in those days, I was the only one trying to do music back in those days from
really feel
Crane.
like there wasn't a high class or low class. Everybody was in the same class of people.
It was. Yeah, I can't really think of any people from there that everybody's like, oh, stay away from them. Oh, yeah, bad people.
Sure.
It just wasn't there. Randy Stowe and his dad,
Right.
and mom, I've known them forever. Of course, I worked with Randy at Silver Dollar City for a long time. And the Kimeses.
Yes.
Man, the Kimeses, Jeff's folks were just too down to earth, normal, hardworking people. Mr. Kimes, I don't think I ever seen him when he wasn't out in the yard or out doing something, working on something, plowing this or cutting this or. And who else lived right on the street, right? Who lived right next to the Kimeses? Lefties had Lefties Plumbing.
Oh, yes. Lefty Evans. Yes.
Evans. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. And this is a little town, and when there was ball games, man, the gym was full. Yeah, that was something to do. And it brings back great memories. I mean,
yes,
we do this show at 4:00 of a day, and we talk a lot about Crane because Dale's from there and I'm from there, and we've kind of made the full circle now, working together.
Right.
And I think anybody that's watched this know that we're working on some stuff and in the entertainment business. And it's I typed in a while ago, yes, I am a musician and what did I say? And a singer and a songwriter and an entertainer. And I do magic and I'm a ventriloquism and I'm the washboard guy. And if you want to know any more, ask.
That's a lot of.
I hit that and it brought up the little red flag thing. Says keep this down under 50 characters. Like, fine, I'll just put my name on there.
Well,
But
that's the thing because we got branding stuff coming up. We've got everything going towards making this happen in 2021. I think that's so cool. Having that stuff to talk about and in future days ahead to talk about all the stuff we're doing.
hey, somebody's calling.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll leave a message.
Let's do that. That sounds good. It's unknown, so they can take it.
Well, no, it's a 417. It's probably one of the doctor's offices, but I'm sure if they're calling about something important, they'll leave me the message to call them back. It's probably, since I was lined up to do the hyperbaric thing every day,
Right.
and now I got to wait till they do these little tubes in my ears. It's probably one of those calls. This is Cox Medical. Do not forget you got an appointment tomorrow morning.
Right.
And
so when do the tubes get put in? When is that?
Monday.
Okay.
My wound doctor wanted it done yesterday.
Right.
He said, we've got to call in and we want those to get done. All they are, they're little bitty. They're the size of the end of a ballpoint pen.
Right.
Just real little. Your eardrum is out in there and kind of down. They go in the eardrum because there's fluid. I guess it's kind of behind the eardrum that where it works kind of like a speaker in an amplifier. And in the hyperbaric bed, you're in there and it gradually takes all the normal oxygen out that you're breathing, and it pumps in up to 90% pure oxygen.
Right.
So and after so long, they got to bring that back down and switch it back to what you're breathing. Right. And one of the main, one of the main things that side effects, that's it.
Right.
Is sometimes your ears, you have problems with your ears stopping up and they won't unstop. Yes,
I would see that.
And this is what, and I went over to urgent care and they said, well, there's no wax in them. I go, well, that's cool because I think Dr. Womack's the last person to clean my ears out ever in my life, I think. And then they said, oh, but you got little fluid in there.
Right.
And it's just one of the things they said. Some people that do the hyperbaric thing, some people get that and some don't. So my doctor said we just need to get those in your ears.
Right.
And I said, how soon? He said, I hope they call you today, and then we'll get you back over here in the afternoon to do a treatment, and then get another treatment, and boom, keep doing the treatments every day except weekends. Well, they finally called, and their ear doctor, he's out of the office. He was going to be out of the office yesterday and today and tomorrow. So they'll do it Monday afternoon.
Right.
Now, I'm a patient, and all I'm about is doing everything I can do to get well.
Exactly.
And so that wasn't thrilling for me.
Right.
And so anyway, it's a process. It's kind of scary when you're just a normal person and you don't know a lot of the medical terms of what we're doing and everything. And as I said, this doctor, Dr. Mull, he's very, very good. And, I'd only been going to him just a little bit. And he said, you're not going to lose a leg or a foot or nothing. He goes, we're going to get this healed.
Right.
Which was very good. Now, the other day he said, well, we got to get these things in your ears so we can get you back in this chamber thing. He said, so we make sure we can save that foot.
Right.
Well, he was just talking doctor wise, like, hey, we got to make sure you're in there because we're getting this fixed, But to hear the words, to make sure we can save that foot. I thought you already said we're saving it. But yeah, they are saving it. And the whole thing's healing, except that now I'm taking so many antibiotics and different stuff right now and squirting stuff up your nose. And
how's your nose?
It's big, man. Like I said, my nose is it grew. No, it didn't grow. The rest of my face just kind of shrunk.
Right.
But I wanted to say hi, Janelle, in case she's watching.
There we
Your
go.
mom.
Awesome.
Yeah, she Janelle. Let me say. Let's see. What could I do if she's watching? She was the kindest, most sincere lady I ever knew.
That's
I
fantastic.
I,
I
I
love that.
sounds like I'm faking it, but she was. She was just kind. I don't know how she actually taught school and put up with kids
She
because
actually talked about what position it was, if she was before or after the Fanny Spanking teacher. Which one was that?
the which one?
The one that spanked you so hard in the butt.
I don't know.
I just think that's interesting because that's an awful story. That is a very interesting story that I'm really sorry that a Crane student had to put up with that. That was
Oh, well,
ridiculous.
my dad went to the school board, and in
Right.
fact, I think I had to go and pull the back of my pants down and show him the whelps across my. Even if I was a kid at school and I got paddled for something, man,
Yeah.
this guy had a board with a handle on it, and it was big,
Right.
and man, he hit me. The whole classroom was just like, and I was always in school. I was, not a ringleader, but I was one. All the young kids follow me, and all
Yeah.
I was just always out. I mean, I've been the same person my whole life, where I talk all the time and subjects just. It's just been me. I was the same way in school, and
Yes.
so I think this guy was just trying to prove a point or something. But
Right. It's
uh,
horrible point though. That's horrible.
yeah, my friends were going, man, I'm glad when he asked me if I'd had a spanking in school before. I'm glad I said no. I said, well, I was just no. They said yes. I just had him go, no, I ain't never had one. Well, get up here. Yeah,
Well, see, I
seems
tell
like
you,
his name might have been Curtis, Mr. Curtis. He's a big guy and he sat in his chair all day. And I think he's from down around Cape Fear. He's somewhere. And oh yeah, he got canned. He should have got canned. I
big
mean, whether it was
problem
me or whoever.
because what I know is when I was in school, the big spanker was Mr. Reedus from Marionville, Billy Reedus, and he was an amazing teacher. But he came in. There was a teacher that started the seventh grade year. I was in sixth grade, and Mr. Reedus came in, and the teacher that started that seventh grade year, she got run off. Like literally, they ran her off. And so Mr. Reedus he was just out of school and he came over and he said, I can tell you one thing, you're not gonna run me off. And so he was a wonderful teacher, but he laid down the law and he made sure that everybody knew that he was in control. Definitely.
Well, we talk about teachers. Bob Conrad was kind of that way. He made sure you knew that he was the boss and he was in charge, but he had a real fun side to him too.
Right.
I mean,
But I gotta
he'd
say
catch
that
him on
Mr. Reedus was in a different class all to himself. I love that guy, but he was in control in that junior high classes.
we had I had some math teacher. I only remember where the room was in the school.
Right.
I forget who she was, but you're in a small school. And
Right.
if you don't want to go to class, you can find a way to just do something. And I missed that class. I mean it. And
Goes by-
I tried to miss her class every chance I got. And then I've had dreams about that in the past where I was
Really?
not going to her class, and she's going, "Well, I'm going to have to give you an F on your report card because you're never here."
Uh,
But I told you we had an English teacher, and her name was Goodall. And
right.
she was young and she wore a lot of makeup. She just guys couldn't believe she would have probably been one of those people that you hear all the stories on TV about the teacher and the
Right.
student having an affair or something. But she was just so cool. And she's the one I went to English for or whatever. That I went in there one day and I was just the ringleader. I said, I've never had anybody put makeup on me where I look like Kiss. She goes, really? You've never had makeup on? No. I go, do you got any here? Well, yeah, here. Come here. Sit down here. Sit down in the chair. She goes, now y'all watch this. And by the time the class is over. I think she did Ace Frehley. I'm not sure which one, but I was all painted up and it looked pretty good, but I had to go to the next class.
Right.
And next day she was like, "You just did that so we didn't have to study yesterday, didn't you?"
Right.
I go, no, that's not why. No. But
Right.
that's what I told her. But, I am the president of the class and I have been for 4 years. And I've got possession of, or I can get it with the snap of the fingers, of the key to the concession stand. And
Right.
it's full of candy bars and soda pop.
Right.
If you want us all to go down there and have class inside the concession stand, because it's all shut up, nobody will know we're there.
Right.
She goes, "Are you serious?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Let's go. Everybody be quiet. Let's go down the hallway." Okay, we go down. I swear I should have had an office there because I was
That's one thing we both had. We both had that time of ruling the school, and that was so much fun. Definitely a fun time. 15 years apart.
wow, that's crazy. And the town didn't really change. And
Not much. Not much.
of course, I lived right up the hill. And I lived during the time when every summer the city council would vote on getting a swimming pool or not, and I remember we'd miss it by 3 votes, and
Right.
we'd miss it by 5 votes. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then the year came, it actually passed. And
Right.
man, that was like celebration. And built the pool right down the street from where I lived. And of course, we just bought a pass for the year, and it opened at maybe noon or 1 o'clock. Every day of my life in the summer,
Right.
boom, me and my friends were at the pool, and we stayed there till it closed at night. And it had a jukebox in it with some speakers that would crank up. And I remember this one guy ran the pool. He goes, "You guys want to play some tunes?" We go, "Yeah." "Just go in there in the cash register, open the door, just get out some money, and put it in the jukebox." And we would just play music loud and dance
Right.
and party. And then he'd be like, "You guys hungry?" "Oh, yeah." "Yeah, let's get some candy bars. What kind you guys like?" I'm like, this guy must have probably got fired because he let us go get in the cash register and get money out, so it was,
Did you ever have Gladys Lane as a teacher? Or
Who?
was that before your time?
Mrs. Lane.
Yes.
I think she was a little bit before me.
I
I
guess
think
so.
she was more like the Gary Chastain and those guys.
Right.
I think
Sure.
because I know the name.
Right.
And
She lived right down the hill from me on the other side, so that's why I'm asking. She lived the street I live on is called Lucas Lane because Port Lucas and Willis Lane were the 2 people that donated land. I think that's such a cool story.
yeah, that was I was talking about that English teacher I had. She lived right down the street from your house.
Right.
They had a couple little trailer houses set back in there a long time ago. She rented
Yes.
a little trailer house, kind of on the corner before you come up to the main drag there to go down. Yeah, that's where she lived. And we had her, and you could tell she was just, bless her heart, she was a party animal pretty much, I think. And she was like, I think in her head it was like, well, I'm stuck here in this little town of Crane. What? And her and a music teacher I had too. She was awesome, but I couldn't imagine some of these people that went to college and all this and wanted to get a job teaching, and they were in a little town like Crane or Hurley but there's a lot of towns. I mean,
where you started.
huh?
That's where you started, definitely.
Yeah, I was so glad though. I mean, I thought it was, I moved there in 6th grade, and
Right.
That's why I said whenever I went to school, my science. Oh, one time we had to go get specimens for science, and I had this science teacher. He was real cool, little skinny guy, and
Right.
and he said, "Let's all get in cars," and we went up to that up above where the swimming pool is. Used to be a real old folks home up there or something. I don't know what it was.
Residential care center. Right. Up the
Yeah,
hill.
we thought it was it's the real old one I'm talking about. Red brick,
Yes,
3 or
old
4
house.
story. Oh,
Old
we
house.
thought it was
Old
yeah,
house.
we thought it was haunted and stuff like that. But we went there to find bugs and stuff for science class. And yeah, it was those are the easiest days of our lives, man, back in those days.
Definitely the most fun. And so this is Deep in Rubber, and tomorrow we will have new stuff to show you. Definitely.
Hey, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but my friend Tracy,
Yes.
my good friend, Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Yes, I talked to him yesterday. I sent him your link. I said, out there it'd be 3 o'clock. I said, I go hit the link you sent me. I go, just hit that link.
Right.
And they'll say, "Oh, we got somebody else on here," and he was going, "Man, this would be a blast."
Yeah.
I go, you can
Let's
come
get
on
on
there as
tomorrow.
much as you want, because yeah, he's a great friend, and he begs me all the time to come out and live out there. He goes, "Bring your mom. It'll all be good."
Okay,
That's kinda
tomorrow on Knee Deep in Rubber. We'll see you on Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday. Okay, see you Friday.